Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Insurance Benefits Alleged Committee for Wednesday, December 7th, 2022, Pearl Harbor Day. Terry?
Good morning. This meeting is being conducted virtually and in person, so I will do a roll call of the trustees to confirm attendance. Mr. Knox?
I am here.
Mr. Santos? Mr. Santos?
Here.
Miss Gray? Miss Gray? Mr. Bernstein? Mr. Sanchez?
Present.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Kehoe?
Present.
Miss Greenwood? Mr. Pryor?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Here.
Chair Robbins.
I am present.
Staff participating in the meeting include CEO Santos Kryman, DCEO Louis Lugo, AEOs JJ Popowich, Laura Guglielmo, Chief Counsel Stephen Rice, Legislative Affairs Officer Barry Liu, from Retiree Healthcare, Cassandra Smith, Director, and Kathy Magida, consultants Richard Ward, Michael Zito from Siegel. Trustees, please use the Zoom chat option to be placed in queue. This time, we ask all meeting participants to mute your mics until you are ready to speak, and we may now proceed with the agenda.
Thank you very much, Terry. We are on item number 1A, approval of the minutes of the November 2nd, 2022 committee meeting. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Vivian,
Are there any corrections, any changes? Terry, would you like to call the roll?
Miss Gray,
aye.
Mr. Kehoe,
Aye.
Mr. Moore,
Aye.
Chair Robbins.
I'm an aye. And I should have said everybody is present for the committee meeting, so we're all here in one respect or another.
The motion passes unanimously.
Item number 2, public comment. Is there any public comment, Terry?
I have nothing.
And neither do I. Item 3A, consent items, is a recommendation by Mr. Rice. That's the repeat of the AB 361. So does anyone have any questions about it? It is on the consent. So you want to go ahead and call the roll, Terry?
We need a motion.
Oh,
So
I'll make the motion.
Second,
Okay.
Motion and a second.
Miss Gray,
aye.
Mr. Kehoe,
Aye.
Mr. Moore,
Aye.
Chair Robbins.
I'm an aye.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. We're on item 4, non-consent items. 4A is recommendation by Mr. Liu, that the committee recommend that the Board of Retirement number 1 approve a visit with Congress by board trustees as designated by the chair of the Board of Retirement and by the staff as designated by the CEO during the week of January 22nd, 2023 in Washington, D.C. And approve reimbursement of all travel costs incurred in accordance with LACERA's travel policy. I'll be the incoming board chair, so anyone who would like to go to that conference, please let me know and I'll pass the name on to staff. We need a motion on this.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the item? See none. Terry?
Miss Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Kehoe,
Aye.
Mr. Moore,
Aye.
Chair Robbins.
I'm an aye.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. Item 5, these are for information items only. 5A, semi-annual report on approved engagements. Mr. Liu.
Yes, good morning, Chair Robbins and committee trustees. This is just a short summary of, I guess, the semi-annual approved engagements. So nothing for me to highlight unless there are any questions from the committee.
I think, are we still on? Somehow you kind of cut out on my computer here, so.
Oh, my apologies. I was saying that I didn't have anything to highlight on the report unless there are any questions from the committee.
Okay, does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, engagement report for November of 2022, Mr. Lu.
Thank you, Chair Robbins. So some items of interest for your committee this month. The Public Policy Institute of California does its periodic surveys about the economic well-being of Californians. So some key findings from the report, you can see a lot of these things are impacted by the effect of inflation. For example, the first item, a lot of strong majorities of Californians think that there's a large gap between the rich and poor, and that it's getting larger, and that they also think children will be worse off than their parents. And then also a lot of Californians are predicting back times for the state economy in the next 12 months. About a quarter of them think that lack of well-paying jobs is a large problem, and that may cause them to seriously consider moving out of state as well. Most Californians are satisfied with their households' financial situations, but about 4 in 10 lower income residents are not satisfied. And then some lower income residents say that it would be difficult to cover a $1,000 emergency expense. You may recall from a few years ago that it used to be a $400 expense, but again, the cost of everything goes up. Also, the cost of gasoline is causing people to drive less, and then also inflation is causing people to reduce meals or cut back on food to save money. A few more items here, but as you can see, a lot of them are sort of reflective of the high cost of living here. For example, the high cost of housing is making people, having difficulty in saving for retirement, as well as, paying for their bills. Most Californians are somewhat satisfied with their jobs, with 8 in 10 reporting a fair amount of job security, but lower income residents have a less positive view of that. But many people do favor government policies that will help with the housing issue and increasing affordable housing. A lot of people are in favor of free college tuition as well as job training programs. The next item is a survey about anxiety amongst public sector workers. So it's a survey by the Mission Square Research Institute, and about 84% think that economic conditions and market volatility are making them anxious about their financial security. A lot of people are worried about having enough money to comfortably live in retirement or to have it last throughout retirement. And again, 70% they have they're worried about having enough emergency savings, such as covering that $1,000 issue. And then about half of state and local public sector workers are saving less due to high inflation rates, and housing costs are also impacting their ability to save. About 4 in 10 public workers think that the retirement benefits that are offered are better than those offered in the private sector. And then for a majority of private sector workers, retirement benefits and non-retirement benefits are the things that make them more inclined to stay in their jobs. The next item is a pension reform item from North Dakota. So there are a couple of bills going to the North Dakota legislature that would change their state retirement plan from a defined benefit to a defined contribution plan. It would affect employees going forward, hired either in 2024 or 25. So I think the reason for this that was put forth was that the plan has a $1 billion unfunded liability back in 2013, and it's now grown to $1.7 billion. So we'll see if this moves ahead and changes their retirement plan. And the last item is about the city of Chester in Pennsylvania. So they're filing for bankruptcy protection because of the debt in their employee pension funds. You may recall in the past, a few other municipalities have filed for bankruptcy, such as Vallejo, Stockton, Detroit, and Puerto Rico after the Great Recession. But as far as Chester is concerned, they've been part of a state program that extends aid to financially distressed governments since 1995. And as you can see, their population has dwindled to half as a century peak. And there's a high poverty rate there as well. So, and also for many years, the city's retirement funds were shortchanged as far as needing to balance a budget. So right now, the state authorized the bankruptcy receiver to file for bankruptcy since he was unable to come to any agreement with workers on either benefit cuts or other steps to, take care of this issue. So that concludes my report, and happy to take any questions.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Lou? Or comments? Barry, I could comment on a whole lot of this stuff for the rest of the day, but we have other meetings to get to. But when I think of what it was like when I grew up and what my family had versus what I see all of my neighbors' families having today, there's no comparison. So, and I'll just, I'll let it go at that. So thank you very much for the report. We're on to item C. Cassandra, you're up.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. In our staff activity report today, you may recall last month, we reported that CMS had announced the standard Part B amount would be decreasing down to $164.90. That's down from $170.10. The Board of Supervisors had that on their agenda yesterday and they approved it unanimously. So we will be updating our records and adjusting all of the members' standard Part B amounts down to $164.90. Also, in your CEO report this month, you may recall reading that United Health and Providence Health were in a potential contract termination status. We there shortly after placing that in the CEO report found out that they had reached a multi-year agreement, and so that avoided over 600 of our members being disrupted in their services that they are currently receiving through Providence Health. And lastly, on November 17th, on my behalf, you received an email from Bonnie informing you of the California Nurse Association potential strike with Kaiser for November 21st and 22nd. That was also avoided. And so they did not go on strike. And with that, that's it. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Anyone have any questions for Cassandra? Seeing no hands raised, we're on to item D, LACERA claims experience.
Good morning. I'm Richard Ward with Siegel. I'm pinch hitting for Steve today, who is under the weather. And I'm gonna, would you like me to share the report? I'm noting the other speakers have not been sharing materials, but I can do that if I have permission.
Sure, you can be as brief as you would like. Normally, he just kind of goes through the report and tells us what the trends are, so.
I plan to be brief. So on page 1, the year-over-year experience for Anthem has increased modestly from 9.8 to 9.9% compared to the prior month report. And Cigna, though, has increased from 16.2 to 20.5 compared to the prior month. I'm looking at the trends on page 2 of 7 of our report. And Kaiser's experience has increased from 21.7 in the prior month to 26.2. And then moving on to page 3, which shows the Anthem reports or the Anthem plans, the year-over-year trend has increased from 8.5 to 8.6 for all plans in aggregate. And then on page 4 with Kaiser, the year-over-year change remains high due to the continued influence of multiple large individual claims, each of these claims in excess of $500,000. And the severity of these claims by nearly 30 is supported by nearly 39% increase in the number of inpatient days per 1,000. So we're seeing an increase in the length of hospital stays, which is driving this increase in large claims. And moving on to page 6, CVS manufacturer rebates have increased 4.9% to $150 per retiree per month. So it's an industry-wide trend as rebates continue to grow to offset pharmacy costs. And then on page 7, dental claims have trended down, so some good news there, from 8.1% to 7.7% compared to last month's report. And then for vision claims, they're up slightly from 1.3 in last month's report to 1.7. And I think that's the highlights for the claims experience.
Does anyone have any questions of Richard Ward? Don't see any questions. Item E, Richard, anything to report on federal legislation?
The public health emergency which has been extended to January 11th of 2023. And we anticipate that it's likely to be extended further to April of 2023. And then the other main item to note regarding the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021, the non-Medicare prescription drug reporting that's required for 2020 and 2021 is continuing to be managed by LACERA's vendor partners, Anthem, CVS, Cigna, Kaiser, and UHC. So that's an ongoing effort.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Ward? Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
report. Give Steve our best. And when you talk to him. We're on item 6, items for staff review.
I have nothing.
Items for future agendas
I have nothing there.
and good of the order. Does anyone have anything they'd like to bring up in good of the order? If you do, raise your hand or speak up. Most of
Well,
us-
everyone, this is our last meeting of the year. And it's been great. Also, I wish everyone a very happy holiday. And that's it.
Feelings are mutual here. Anybody else have anything? Next month, we'll all be sitting in that room, I guess. So I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moore. We are adjourned. About 12 minutes, Will?
Yeah, 12 minutes.